Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create VPC peering between two VPCs within the same region. Okay, VPC peering within the same region between two VPCs. Okay, we can create as many. I will show you one by one. Okay, for that, first we have to create a prod VPC. That's shader value this one, and I am going to create one more VPC UAT called UAT VPC, that is starting with 11 series. Okay, this is the shader value for the UAT VPC. So after that we have to create the route tables. I created one private route table, public route table for these two VPCs. After that you can create the VPC peering. So for this you have to create the VPC between production VPC and UAT VPC. So this UAT production VPC called requester, and this UAT VPC called acceptor. From the acceptor side, you have to accept this peering connection once you have created. Then only the VPC peering connection could be established. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you is I have created one VPC called production VPC. That's the header value 10.016. Okay. I want to launch two subnets in this. Okay. One is public, one is private. If I want to launch any EC2 missions in these two subnets can communicate through locally. That means the A communication between these two subnets established automatically by AWS. No need to define any routes between these two subnets. AWS would take care of this one. I want to create one more VPC and I want to launch one subnet in this, and I want to create one EC2 mission in this. Suppose if I want to communicate between from this EC2 mission to this EC2 mission, so these two VPs, these two EC2 missions could not communicate because there is no communication. To establish that communication, we would require you to create VPC peering between these two VPCs. Okay, that is called VPC peering between. Let me take one more. We have to establish this communication using VPC peering. Okay, so for this CIDR value would be 11.0.0/16. Okay, that means when you establish VPC peering, this VPC is called requester. This VPC is called acceptor. Once you create the VPC, from the acceptor side, we have to accept this VPC peering. Okay, then only the communication could happen. Once you accept this, Once you accept this VPC peering connection, you after that you can edit the route tables from both sides. In this route table, what we have to do is from this in this route table, you have to enter this series. Okay, so in this route table, you have to made one route entry. Let me In this route entry, I'm going to enter this one 0/16. Okay, so by default, AWS will create route entry for this 10 series. This is local. Okay, this would be happen local. So in the same way, suppose if I'm going to communicate from any other IP other than these two. So if I any address, suppose 120, okay, let me take this one. I have 123.45.68.29. If any request from this IP address, then that will go to through IGW, that means Internet Gateway. What I'm going to tell here is, if any request other than these two series, then that communication could happen through Internet Gateway. Okay, that's what I'm going to explain here. In the same way, we have to enter the route table for this VPC gateway in this route as well. Okay, suppose 11.0.0/016. This could go through local communication, which is defined by the AWS. And if any request from 10 series, that is 10.0.0.0/16, this could be happen through VPC peering. That's what we are going to edit the route tables in both sides. If any request other than these two, that could go through Internet Gateway. Okay, Internet Gateway would be attached from this VPC here, or you can establish to this one. Okay, when you are access, suppose you are from working from office or home, if you make any request first, suppose you want to access this EC2 machine, then when you are requesting, it could go through the ISP of your home address or office address, then it will reach to the AWS. So through AWS, it will reach out the Internet Gateway. After that, it will go and check route table. Then only from the route, it will reach out the these subnets. Okay, this is how communication between these two would be happen. Suppose from once you log in into this EC2 mission, you want to access this 11 series, then the communication will go through this route table again. So here it is going to check the route whether it is existed or not. This going to VPC peering, right? We already defined this could go through VPC peering. Then it will reach out this VPC peering, and then it will comes to this ECT mission. This is how the communication would happen. Okay, let me show you the practically. I have already created two VPCs. Okay, that is one is production VPC and one more is UAT VPC. Let me show you the route table as well. Under route table section, for the public route table, I will show you. Under routes section, if you see, any series apart from this 10 series, this could go through Internet Gateway. Within the 10 series, it will go through local. That means if any request from this 10 series, this will communicate locally. Other than any IP address, that will go through Internet Gateway. That's what I'm going to tell here. Okay, for the same, I'm going to select the UAT VPC here, and I want to show you the routes for this. I have created one more route, that is public route. Let me show you. This is for UAT VPC. Okay, 1 minute. Let me delete this one. Let me select UAT VPC only. Under route tables, I can see public route. Okay, this is the UAT route table. For this route table, let me show you the routes. See, if any request from this 11 series, that could happen between the local internet only. If any apart from this 11 series, this that go through the Internet Gateway. Okay, now let me launch the EC2 machine. So let me click on instances. So already I have one EC2 machine in this. So here I have one production VPC. I have under production VPC, I have already one EC2 machine. Okay, let me show you the VPC for this one. If I scroll down, I can see the VPC. This is under production VPC. I have one EC2 machine. Let me launch one more EC2 under UAT VPC. Okay, let me launch it. So I'm going to give the name as UAT VM. This is the EC2 machine name. You have to select the operating system of this one. Here I'm going to select the Amazon Linux. After that, instance type could be T2 Micro. So scroll down. Here I'm going to select the my created custom key. So here I'm going to select the UAT VPC. So this is the production already created. Now I'm going to create the ECT for UAT VPC. Under UAT S1, I have only one subnet. Okay, let me select the security group as well. Okay, I'm going to launch EC2 mission under UAT VPC. Okay, now EC2 mission is launched in UAT VM. Okay, so what I done here is I have created one production VPC and UAT VPC, and I have created subnet in this one, and I have created one more subnet in this, and I have launched one ECT mission in this production VPC and one more ECT mission in UAT VPC. Now I'm going to create the peering between these two. Okay, so to establish the communication between these two, I have to create the VPC peering. For that, let me log in into the production VM. This is the IP address. Okay, let me close this. I'm going to open it, putty. I'm selecting the PEM key. After that, so I'm going to connect the production VPC VM. Okay, I'm going to this one. See, this is the 10. This is the 10.0.1.199. So this is under production VPC only. Okay, this is the production VPC. Now I'm going to launch. Now I'm going to connect this UAT VM. Let me ping this one first. The communication is not established because we have not created the VPC. To create the VPC, first we have to go to the VPC section. Under VPC dashboard, we can see the VPC peering connection. Now I'm going to create the VPC peering between the two VPCs within the same region only. For that, under the VPC peering connection, select create peering connection. Okay, you can name it any name. Here I'm going to create prod to VPC UAT. So you have to create the requester and acceptor. So for the requester, I'm going to select the production VPC. You can either you can select production or VAT as well, no problem. Here I'm going to select the production as the requester and UAT VPC is the acceptor. So you can create the VPC within the same region from one region to another region as well. From one account to another account as well also you can create VPC peering. Here I'm going to create the VPC peering within the my account. Within the same region only I'm creating the VPC peering. Okay. So once you create the peering connectivity, you have to accept from this acceptor side. See, once you establish this, once you establish the peering connectivity between these two VPCs, you have to accept this from acceptor. That's what I'm going to see here. Just select this VPC peering, go to actions. So here you have to select accept request and accept request. Okay. Now the peering connectivity is activated. Once you create the peering connection, peering VPC peering between these two VPCs, you have to modify the route table. For that, you have to go to the VPC dashboard and enter the route tables. You have to modify the this VPC route entries. Okay, so for that, select the route table for this VPC and go to route section. See, this is already created by the AWS. This is manually I entered. Okay. So now we have to enter the UAT VPC settings for this one. Okay, let me select the production VPC first, then we can go through that. Okay. For the production VPC, now I'm entering. See, this 10 series already created by the AWS. This is I created manually. Okay. Now I'm going to enter UAT VPC series, that is starting with 11.0.0/16 CIDR value. This is for UAT VPC. This communication should go through VPC peering. For that, scroll down. So from here you have to select VPC connection. Okay. So here you have to select the created VPC peering. Okay. Once you create, save changes. And the same way, go to UAT VPC as well. This is the route table I created for this UAT VPC. Under route section, I'm going to enter the production VPC CIDR value, that is 10.0.0.16. This is the CIDR value I was given. This, if any request comes from this 10 series, that go through this peering connection. Okay. Now save changes. Now you have entered two route tables both sides. That means you have modified this route table as well. This route table as well you modified, and this route table also you modified. Now you can see the communication between these two. See, once you establish the peering connection, the communication has been started. So to check the only private IP address only have to check for the VPC peering communication. Don't check with the public IP communication. So this is how we have to create the VPC peering connection between two VPCs within the same region. Okay, thank you for watching. Bye bye.